You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
And now, a word from our sponsor, Cortex. Security teams face a barrage of more security tools create more complexity, more devices need protection, more specialized focus areas create more silos. The security landscape is changing fast. How can security operations transform to meet current threats? Cortex by Palo Alto Networks consolidates SecOps tools into an integrated platform and helps organizations stop threats at scale with AI, automation, and analytics. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com/Cortex. A global news agency suffers a cyber attack. CISA and the FBI provide guidance on cross-site scripting attacks. A Texas healthcare system diverts patients following a ransomware attack. Western Digital patches a critical vulnerability in network-attached storage devices. California passes a law protecting domestic abuse survivors from being tracked. Verizon and PlayStation each suffer outages. CISA responds to critiques from the OIG. T-Mobile settles with the FCC over multiple data breaches. The DOJ indicts a Minnesota man on charges of selling counterfeit software license keys. On our Industry Voices segment kicking off Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we're joined by Chad Radigi, Executive Director of the Oklahoma Cyber Innovation Institute at the University of Tulsa. We're discussing the Institute's K-12 outreach initiatives. And a crypto criminal stretches his limits and his legs. It's Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. It is great to have you with us. Agence France Presse, AFP, experienced a cyber attack on September 27th, disrupting its content distribution infrastructure, but its core news reporting remains unaffected. The attack targeted AFP's IT systems, specifically content delivery networks and file transfer services used to deliver news to clients. While the type of attack and the responsible party are still unknown, AFP quickly responded, with the French cybersecurity agency ANSSI assisting in securing the systems. AFP warned clients that their FTP credentials might have been compromised, advising them to update passwords and secure their systems. Despite these technical issues, AFP assured that its newsroom continues to operate without interruptions, delivering the news globally in multiple languages. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack so far. Cross-site scripting vulnerabilities remain a persistent issue in software development despite being preventable. CISA and the FBI have issued a Secure by Design alert to address these risks. Cross-site scripting attacks occur when malicious scripts are injected into trusted web pages due to improper handling of user inputs. This can lead to data theft, session hijacking, or unauthorized actions in the user's browser. These vulnerabilities often arise from inadequate input validation, sanitization, or escaping of user inputs. Despite effective mitigations, cross-site scripting vulnerabilities continue to be widespread, ranking second in MITRE's top software weaknesses list. CISA and the FBI urge developers to adopt best practices such as input validation, using modern web frameworks with built-in security, conducting thorough code reviews, and adversarial testing to prevent these vulnerabilities during the development process. UMC Health System in Texas has been diverting patients after a ransomware attack forced them to take their IT systems offline. The incident, disclosed on September 27th, led to both emergency and non-emergency patients being diverted to nearby hospitals. UMC launched an investigation and disconnected its systems to contain the breach. By Monday, some services were restored and only a few patients were still being diverted. UMC's emergency center is now accepting ambulance patients, while other facilities remain open but are not fully operational. The hospital has engaged third-party experts to aid in the recovery process. Downtime procedures have been implemented, and patients are being informed of changes to appointments. UMC continues its efforts to restore services safely and provide updates on the investigation and remediation efforts. A critical vulnerability has been identified in Western Digital's MyCloud devices, affecting models like MyCloud EX2 Ultra and PR4100. This flaw, with a CVSS score of 9.2, allows attackers to exploit an unchecked buffer in the dynamic DNS client through a man-in-the-middle attack, leading to arbitrary code execution. Western Digital has addressed the issue in a firmware update and urges users to update immediately. The vulnerability poses risks of unauthorized access, data corruption, and system crashes. Western Digital thanks researchers at Clarity for responsibly disclosing the issue. California has passed a new law requiring car manufacturers to let drivers disable remote access to their vehicles, aimed at protecting domestic abuse survivors from being tracked by abusers. Signed by Governor Gavin Newsom, the bill is part of a broader package of domestic violence protections. It addresses the growing concerns around connected cars' ability to track users. Automakers must now allow vehicle owners to block specific individuals from accessing their cars remotely, and they cannot charge a fee for this service. Additionally, the law mandates in-vehicle alerts when remote access is being used. The legislation could influence nationwide changes as manufacturers tend to create cars for multiple markets. The FCC is also investigating how it can regulate automakers to ensure connected cars aren't used to harass survivors, following pressure from advocacy groups. On Monday morning, thousands of Verizon users across major U.S. cities, including New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago, experienced widespread cell phone service outages. Over 104,000 reports were logged on Down Detector by 11:30 a.m. Eastern, with the number later dropping to 78,000. Many users reported their phones showing SOS mode, preventing calls and messages. Verizon confirmed the issue, with engineers working to resolve it, though the cause was unclear. Simultaneously, the PlayStation network faced a global outage, affecting services like gaming, account management, and the PlayStation Store. Sony says they're working to fix the issue, which began at 8:41 p.m. Eastern Time, with some services still down, potentially due to overloaded servers. Both outages disrupted users' daily activities and work. The Office of Inspector General has highlighted challenges facing the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency in sharing cyber threat information, as mandated by the Cybersecurity Act of 2015. While CISA met some basic requirements, including updating its guidance and improving security clearances, participation in the automated indicator sharing system has declined significantly. The number of AIS participants dropped from 304 in 2020 to 135 in 2022, with a 93% reduction in shared cyber threat indicators. The OIG identified a lack of outreach and unclear financial tracking as key issues. CISA has committed to evaluating AIS, exploring alternatives, and improving recruitment and retention of participants, with a target completion date of July 2025. The OIG also recommended CISA develop a spending plan and implement performance metrics, which the agency agreed to address. The FCC reached a $31.5 million settlement with T-Mobile over multiple data breaches that compromised millions of U.S. consumers' personal information between 2021 and 2023. As part of the agreement, T-Mobile will invest $15.75 million in cybersecurity improvements and pay a $15.75 million civil penalty. The settlement requires T-Mobile to adopt modern cybersecurity practices, such as zero-trust architecture and multi-factor authentication, and improve oversight and data management. The FCC's Privacy and Data Protection Task Force played a key role in the investigation. Benjamin Paley, age 75, co-owner of Minnesota IT company Gen8 Services, has been indicted for participating in an international conspiracy to sell counterfeit software license keys for Brocade networking devices. Paley, along with co-conspirators Wade Huber and David Rosenblatt, allegedly ran a scheme from 2014 to 2022, selling over 3,600 forged Brocade switch licenses. These counterfeit keys were sold at prices far below market rates, costing Brocade between $5 million and $363 million in losses. Paley faces charges of conspiracy to commit access device fraud and access device fraud, with potential penalties of up to 15 years in prison for each count and fines up to $250,000. His co-conspirators have pleaded guilty, and sentencing is set for later this month. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Chad Radagy, Executive Director of the Oklahoma Cyber Innovation Institute at the University of Tulsa. Stay with us. And now, a word from our sponsor, Maltego. Cyber, physical, fraud, and foreign influence threats are evolving as we speak. Automation alone can't catch them all, making human insights indispensable. The Maltego platform lets your analysts connect and analyze seemingly unrelated data by bringing OSINT, internal logs, threat feeds, and more into one place. Visit www.maltego.com to discover how Maltego supercharges analysts with real-time intelligence to identify and mitigate threats, keeping businesses and the public safe. That's www.maltego.com, your all-in-one platform for OSINT and investigations. Identity architects and engineers, modernize your identity systems with Strata. Integrate legacy apps with any IDP, ensure seamless identity failover, and apply MFA without touching app code. Strata offers robust, efficient identity management, reducing tech debt and enhancing security. Gain peace of mind and operational efficiency with Strata's comprehensive solutions. Visit strata.io/cyberwire, share your biggest identity challenge, and enjoy free AirPods Pro. Optimize your identity solutions today. Visit strata.io/cyberwire. And our thanks to Strata for being a longtime friend and supporter of this podcast. On today's Industry Voices segment, kicking off Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we're joined by Chad Radagy, Executive Director of the Oklahoma Cyber Innovation Institute at the University of Tulsa. We're discussing the Institute's K-12 outreach initiatives.
We were established just 9 short months ago with the vision of helping the state of Oklahoma and the city of Tulsa kind of lay out a path forward. We received some funding from the state of Oklahoma by way of the American Rescue Plan Act. Many of us know that as ARPA, or the Post-COVID Recovery Act. They authorized some funding allocations to us and gave us a mandate of let's get cybersecurity awareness classes across the state of Oklahoma. So concentrate on K through 12, but also don't leave out the adult continuing education. So those that are trying to reskill or upskill. I also received some funding from a large family foundation here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we have been asked to focus on business development and get cyber education and research and activities into those local businesses. So not just kids, but businesses, homes, local governments.
Well, tell us a bit about your own background. My understanding is you are a U.S. Air Force veteran?
I am, Dave. Thanks for bringing that up. Proudly wore the uniform of our nation, United States Air Force, for 29 years. Eventually retired in November of 2023 after a long but rewarding career. I specialized in communications, information technology, and cyber operations for my entire career. As I was retiring last November, I wanted to find some meaningful work. I wanted to find a new mission, quite frankly. So as I looked across the U.S. landscape, I came back to the state of Oklahoma, found this unique opportunity here with the University of Tulsa and this Oklahoma Cyber Innovation Institute, one that, as I noted, was focused on kids, focused on businesses, focused on critical infrastructure for our nation. That's where I've immediately found a calling and really meaningful work that provides a daily mission for me.
Why the focus on kids and cybersecurity? What makes that the right match at this particular moment?
Dave, I think the best capture is to give you some statistics. I have been in consultation with some friends that lead an initiative called the Savvy Cyber Kids, and here are some of the statistics that they've discovered in their research. 80% of kids cannot tell if they are talking to a child or an adult posing as a child. 54% of college-age students actually reported sexting as minors. 92% of teens are online every single day, with 24% of those commenting that they're almost entirely online constantly every day. And finally, how about this one? 95% of kids age 8 through 12 now report that they have their own smart device. And so it's for those reasons that we think that the youth of our nation, those that are going to bring us into the future, are the ones that we need to concentrate on the most. Help them be prepared for the digital society that we're not only experiencing today, but the one that's building out tomorrow.
Well, describe what this outreach looks like. How are you going to interact and engage with these kids?
Absolutely. And we're taking a framework that is has been published by our U.S. government. It's one that was born out of the National Institute of Standards and Technology. We may know it as the acronym NIST, but they have a cybersecurity workforce framework known as NICE. It's the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education. The NICE framework is all about increasing the size and capability of our U.S. cybersecurity workforce. It defines what cybersecurity is. It provides a list of critical cybersecurity tasks, and it provides knowledge, skills, and abilities that will be required to perform those tasks. So NIST and NICE is really what's defining where we go. Now, what are we doing with the state of Oklahoma? Well, that's where we're working directly with those K through 12 teachers, those that are on the front lines of education across the state of Oklahoma. We're identifying where they might have interests, and we're trying to figure out how to tailor some programs to those schools.
Help me understand where things stand when it comes to Oklahoma. It's easy to talk about different states in the nation being haves or have-nots and being ahead or behind. Where does Oklahoma sit on the spectrum of exposing kids and bringing them up to speed when it comes to cyber?
Yeah, I think the recognition is that Oklahoma has put some investment into getting out of the bottom tier of our nation, and part of that is the mandate for my institute. Give us some funds, give us some teachers, develop a framework, make contact with those teachers in the classrooms, and look to build out. So we're doing that by a number of things. We're creating cyber camps. We're getting into local community centers. We're developing STEM classes and looking for opportunities to find new students. Interestingly, we note that a lot of those students are not necessarily in classrooms anymore. There is a large homeschool community here in Oklahoma. We have some rural districts that embrace the homeschool community, and so we're working with those parents to create some virtual classes for those students, link them with resource kits for families, and provide the parents with some cyber training themselves.
What is it that makes the University of Tulsa the right choice to be home to this initiative?
Well, across the state of Oklahoma, and quite frankly, across the nation, University of Tulsa is a recognized leader in cybersecurity. We have provided through our Cyber Core program a direct beeline of graduates into the National Security Agency and the U.S. Cyber Command for over 20 years now. So we're a recognized program. We're a top 25 ranked capability. We have a bunch of great researchers, faculty, PhD students that are looking at making cybersecurity and Tulsa that much better. And so that's why Tulsa is we have a distinguished staff and faculty ready to support us.
It strikes me that in addition to the educational opportunities here, that a lot of this is inspiration. It's getting these kids to understand that all of this is within the realm of possibility for them.
Boy, that's a fantastic word, Dave, and that's right back to meaningful purpose for me of finding a way to find a mission on a daily basis. It is about inspiring the youth of the future into the cybersecurity workforce, perhaps, but certainly to put their impact on on the digital society that we're building. Let me just offer a couple of statistics associated with that, and I think these are very interesting to understand. The global cyber workforce, for example, grew to 4.7 million professionals in 2022. And that is actually up 11% from 2021. And so you can see a rapid increase in the number of workforce needs that are out there. How bad are the needs? Well, actually, October of 2023, so just a year ago this time, there were nearly 600,000 job openings in cybersecurity, and only 60%, 68% of those open jobs were filled. And so there is not only a need, but there's a vacancy. And so we're trying to close that gap.
I imagine there are a lot of places of higher learning, educational establishments are going to look to what you all are doing there at University of Tulsa with this Oklahoma Cyber Innovation Institute, and sit up and take notice and look at it as inspiration. The combination of the types of funding that you've gone for, the programs you're putting in place here. Do you have any words of wisdom or guidance for those other organizations, those other institutes who are looking at you all for inspiration?
Well, that's a fantastic question, Dave, and one that I very much appreciate. What I will tell you is that we're not doing this alone. There are other remarkable institutions that are out there trying to figure out how to take a look at the challenge that is out there, develop their own NIST and NICE standards and curriculum, and get those out. So the University of Tulsa is very much a collaborator. We are well involved with some of the ongoing national dialogues regarding workforce development. We have had conversations with the White House's Office of the National Cyber Director. We have been at some of the different forums around the nation where we look at best practices and who has gained some ground based on an initiative that they came up with. And we are rapidly looking at how do we bring that into the state of Oklahoma. And likewise, we're looking to develop our own initiatives, and then we will be willing sharers of that information to help all boats rise and to tackle this for our nation as a whole.
What's the bottom line here? I mean, as you look towards these kids who are in the classrooms, what do you hope they get out of the program?
Well, what we hope for very much is an understanding that cyber impacts everyone, young and old alike. This is the digital society that we're building. And so society will not only get more digital, but it'll also get more connected as we move forward. We will choose to focus on the future, which we believe is our kids. And so we want cybersecurity to be as unique and responsive and automatic as saying please and thank you, and looking both ways before you cross the street, and putting on your seatbelt when you get into the car. How do we make these automatics for the youth of America? That's how we become a cybersecure nation moving forward.
That's Chad Radagy, Executive Director of the Oklahoma Cyber Innovation Institute at the University of Tulsa. Now a word from our sponsor, the Johns Hopkins University Information Security Institute, who's currently seeking qualified applicants for its innovative Master of Science in Security Informatics degree program. Study alongside world-class interdisciplinary experts and gain unparalleled educational, research, and professional experience in information security and assurance. Interested U.S. citizens should consider the Department of Defense's Cyber Scholarship Program, which covers tuition, required fees, textbooks, and a laptop, as well as providing a $32,000 additional annual stipend. Apply for the spring 2025 semester by November 15th and apply for this scholarship by February 1st. Learn more about both at cs.jhu.edu/MSSI. And finally, Krebs on Security chronicles an absolutely bonkers mix of cybercrime and corruption straight out of a pulp novel. A California man, Adam Iza, also known as the Godfather, is accused of not only dodging taxes on millions allegedly earned from cybercrime, but also paying off local cops to help intimidate rivals. Iza, co-owner of the cryptocurrency platform Zort, reportedly spent investors' money on luxury cars, jewelry, and even leg-lengthening surgery. I swear I am not making this up. According to the FBI, Iza hired Los Angeles Sheriff's Department officers to help him extort former business partners, some of whom were tied to the notorious hacker group Ugg-Nazi. One incident involved trying to steal a laptop full of cryptocurrency, while another involved kidnapping attempts. Iza allegedly paid these officers $280,000 a month for their services, like forcing rivals to hand over assets. Iza's scheme came to light after he stiffed a private investigator, triggering a cascade of lawsuits and criminal investigations. His girlfriend, also allegedly involved, is now dating the star of reality TV show Love Island. This tale has everything: crypto, hackers, corrupt cops, and reality show romance. With corrupt deputies, stolen millions, and custom legs, this saga truly stretches the limits of what we thought possible in cybercrime. And that's the CyberWire. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K CyberWire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. N2K makes it easy for companies to optimize your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your teams while making your teams smarter. Learn how at n2k.com. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. Our mixer is Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karp. Simone Petrella is our president, Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. A program note, we're taking a break from publishing this Wednesday and Thursday for some internal company meetings. We'll be back on our regular schedule starting this Friday. We'll see you then.